You clicked on this video for one reason, to learn how to make a simulator map. So I'm not gonna waste your time, let's get straight into it. So I usually start my maps by planning out which models I'll need. In this case, we need trees, rocks, all the standard stuff, as well as a center tower and a portal. Next is the modeling. Now the biggest thing that helped me, and still does, is having reference. You'll be able to freehand model soon enough, but in the start, reference is very important. Now, I want to go a bit more in depth with the harder models, which I use special tactics for, starting with the tree. As you can see, I'm extruding a simple wireframe with vectors, then continuing by adding a skin modifier to the model, which gives it its depth. For the leaves, I'm just using a simple square, subdividing it, then adjusting it to position. And that's all there is to it. You've now got a low poly tree. And for the grass, I'm using the exact same approach. Now the portal is obviously a more complex model, but I'm just starting with simple shapes, then later on making them more rock-like. None of the things I'm doing here are particularly hard, but together it makes a great model. This model looks very nice and complex, but in reality, the modeling process is very simple. Now for the map size, I usually go for 200 by 200. That's the size I find to look the best. The first thing I work on is always the borders. Now, to keep the borders looking nice and interesting, I fill them up with all the small models we made. As you can see, I'm working on one big segment, which I can then paste around. And there, the borders are done and looking nice. Now, let's work on some paths. Let's give it a nice color, and now that's very simply done. And the last step is, yep, you guessed it, placing models. Now the only tips I can give you for this part is make it variated, add hills with the borders, and most importantly, get inspiration from other maps. Also, feel free to be creative. For example, here I'm using the tree leaves as bushes. And here I'm finally, as the last thing, adding in the portal. And now, it's finally time for the tour. Alright, that was a bit overdramatic, but thank you for watching and I hope this helped.